Hello everyone. Today we are going to study the third part of array. In the last video we have discussed how can we initialize values into an array. When we initialize value, you can initialize values to an array in two different ways, static and dynamic. And we have discussed what is a subscript or what is the use of an indexed value. Here we can explain it clearly one more time. How can we initialize the array values? Here we are going to first discuss about static initialization. Static initialization means you are assigning a value directly to an array variable. Here I have given int. Here I have declared a variable int a of 5 and I have used or given 5 values there. That is, first value will be 4, second value will be 5, third 6, 8 and 9. So 5 values are assigned to a. Then comes character s of 5. Here also I have given 5 different characters or 5 values to s. Then I have declared int n of 5. But can you see that there are only 3 values that I have assigned? 3, 5 and 6. But I have declared 5 variables. So when we are initializing like this, we have just given only 3 values. The rest of the values will be 0. That is, n of 0 is 3, n of 1 is 5, n of 2 is 6, n of 3 will be 0, n of 4 will be 0. Okay? Then we are going to next int p of I haven't given the size there. Did you see that? It is blank. And I have given 7 values there. So what is the size of p? It will be automatically declared as 7 because I have given 7 values. So the value when you are giving it, if you don't declare the variable with the size, simply leave it blank. When you give the values to that variable, it will be allocated according to the number of values given. So here I have given 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That is, I have given 7 values. So what will be the size of the array p? It will be 7. Okay? Automatically it will be assigned 7 memory locations. Now coming to index value that we have discussed. What is an index value? So in this array, how can we point out the index value? So index or subscript which is used to identify the elements in an array. So if you have given int p of 10 equal to 11, 12, 22, 33, 44, 55, 66, 77, 88, 99 and 100. If I have given the value, this is known as static initialization. So what will happen? P will be having continuous memory location. Okay? So where will be 11 allocated? 11 will be allocated in P of 0. So how the index value starts? The index value always starts with 0 and ends with, what is the size of the array here? 10. 10 minus 1. So whatever you are giving, if you are going to declare a variable as p of 50, so the index value will start with 0 and end with 50 minus 1, that is 49. Okay, so the index value ranges from 0 to the array size minus 1. Okay, and you can directly access the values from the array by specifying the index value. If I have given the statement cout p of 5, P of 5 means it will be the sixth position. That is sixth element will be displayed. Okay. Sixth element. P of 5 and what will be the output? The output will be 66. You can directly access the value by saying the index value. Okay, I can use it for adding. That is P of 0 plus P of 1. So what will be the answer? Answer will be 33. P of 0 plus P of 1. 11 plus 22. I will get 33 as the answer. So you can directly access the value from the array by specifying the index value. Okay. Now, how can we accept and display 5 values? That is when you are going to accept 5 values dynamically. See, we have studied in the last class dynamic initialization. That is, at runtime only we will get the value of the variable. So here I have declared 5 P of 5. That is, you are going to accept 5 values to P. Okay. So here I am writing C in P of 0, C in P of 1, C in P of 2, C in P of 3, C in P of 4. Okay. Or you can cascade it, or you can combine it, and you can write it in a single statement. C in P of 0, P of 1, P of 2, P of 3, P of 4. You can do it like that also. You can write it like that also. Okay. You can use any one of the method for accessing the value. So for displaying also, you have to write it like this. Cout P of 0, Cout P of 1, P of 2, P of 3, P of 4, or you can combine the entire 5 statements into a single Cout statement, which is known as cascading of output statement that we have discussed. Here the case comes for int P of 5. Okay, that is, you have only 5 numbers. If we are going to print 100 numbers, will you accept 100 values like this? C in P of 0, P of 1, P of 2 till P of 99. Will you write it like that? Is it possible for us to write it? Or when you want to print it, you will write it Cout P of. Is it possible for us to write it? No, the program will become very lengthy over there. For this, for accepting a number of values, or for accepting values and for displaying array values, you can use for loop. Now let us check how can we use it. Here we are going to use a for loop for accepting and displaying the array values. So you have to use 2 different looping statements for accepting and displaying. So instead of specifying the index value, can you see it over here? Here I have given 1, I there. Instead of specifying the number, I have given I, which means that when the value of I changes, P of I will also change. The first statement will be P of 0. The second statement will be P of 1. And it will go on till P of 99. Similarly here also, the first value is I is equal to 0. Then P of 0 will be printed off. Okay. So we will check it how it is working in a memory. So here I am going to declare a variable I and A of 5. Okay, I have declared a variable, I have declared an array A of 5. So now I am going to accept the value from the user. So for that I have written I is equal to 0, I less than 5 plus I, C in A of 5. So the first value that I am going to give is 100. Second value is 200. Third value is 300. Fourth is 400. Fifth is 500. When the statement A of 5, int A of 5 is executed, the memory will be allocated in this manner because integer needs 4 bytes. Single integer needs 4 bytes. So here I need 5 elements. So compiler will reserve 5 continuous memory location. That is 5 into 4. That is 20 continuous memory locations will be allocated for A. For A, continuous memory will be allocated. Now I have entered the value through the keyboard. 100, 200, 300, 400 and 500 I have entered the value. what will happen? The first value will be 100. So A of 0 will hold 100. The second value will be 200. That is A of 1 will be 200. A of 2 will be 300. A of 3 will be 400. A of 4 will be 500. This is how the program is being executed. Okay? When the value of I is 0, what will happen? 100 will come to the memory. When I is incremented, that is the value of I will become 1. What is the value that is that will be stored in the memory? 200. When the value of I become 2, A of 2, 300. When the value of I become 3, A of 3, 400. When the value become 4, A of 4, the value will be stored 500 in A of 4. This is how the data is allocated in the memory. That's all for today. Thank you.